Hi, welcome to the Peachtree Cafe Morning Show for Thursday, February 27th. And today I have two guests that came here earlier in the week, but today we're kind of featuring Seiji Arao Takahashi. His great-grandparents lived in Japan. Mm-hmm. They moved to Mexico during the First World War, I think, and then started to live near Guadalajara. And he grew up there in Guadalajara, and he got his BA in entrepreneurship from Tec de Monterrey, which is kind of like the Harvard Business School of Mexico. It's a very well-regarded degree. And then he went on to get his master's degree in environmental economics from Griffith University in Brisbane, Australia. He's also done his university studies in Sweden. Also, he's like a citizen of the world. And now he works for DCI and for DCI's college, which is the Sedona College of International Management. He's a management consultant there, and really he runs the place. And he's also, on top of that, he's a very good translator of the ancient books. And he's translating a very famous book that was written 1,000 years ago about karmic correlations or seed correlations. Do this, get that. Welcome to the show, Seiji.
Thank you for having me.
And we have a question for you from, I believe it's from Romania, and it's from Masi.
It's from this guy named Masi from Romania. Here we go.
Hello everybody, my name is Masi and I'm contacting you from Romania, Brașov. My situation and question is about number 29. I find that years in the business world are taking an undesirable toll in my personal appearance. And I know the cause of this problem is getting angry. The question is, how can I stop myself of not to react and not to get angry in a condition that I am pushing or pulling to react? Thank you.
Yeah, and I think it's a great question for you. And also I'd like to welcome Ben Gomley, who's coming back to the show this week. He's also a world famous economist. Grew up in Paris, France. Worked as the assistant trade commissioner for some of the French embassies in the Middle East and for large banks like Deutsche Bank. And thank you for coming. He's been on CNN, he's been on Le Monde. Now he's been on the Peachtree Cafe show.
Great pleasure.
And so Seiji, what do you think? I find myself, I teach people all over the world. We talk a lot about not getting angry because it hurts you, but there's a famous correlation. So how would you define a correlation, and what's that got to do with your appearance?
Oh, okay. So correlations, like you said, Michael, is about the principles of how seeds work. So if you do this action, you'll experience this result. Like we've seen in past videos, every second of our day, we're planting seeds, right? Through the things that we do, through the things that we think, and through the things that we talk about. So to the author of this book, they were very interested in knowing, okay, so if they were doing it the other way, actually, they're saying, if you're faced with this problem, it's because you did this. And to not have that, you have to do this, which is usually the opposite of the cause. So one of the cool things is that a lot of them we can deduce them with logic. For example, if I want to have financial independence, I can help Ben reach financial independence, and that works one-on-one. There are some correlations which are not obvious, at least not obvious to me. For example, the one that Masi is talking about is about beauty. And they say that the correlation for beauty is actually patience.
Wow.
Or in other words, not getting angry. So some of these things are not as easy to find out. So that's why I think it's very useful to have this list of correlations that might not be super obvious.
Yeah.
For example, another one that comes up in my head is if you live in a country where there's a lot of holes in the road and it's not easy to get from one place to the other. It's because of harsh speech in the past.
Wow.
That's another correlation that to me it doesn't make normal sense. But the cool thing is there were these people that were very interested in that, and they developed their minds in such ways that they were able to see these invisible lines of logic were seeing that this big thing was actually created by this small thing.
So I think, Ben's been in some big companies recently in Beijing, China, and some huge companies, like, I don't know, billion dollar companies. And have you noticed that people, sometimes people get very, very successful, and to get successful, they work very, very hard. And then by the time they get successful, they aged. They got heart problems and they got stomach problems and they're tired and they finally got that Tesla car, but they feel too old to drive it. So have you seen that in your business experience?
I did notice that when a businessman reaches a level of success where all of a sudden he can relax. I mean, basically feel. Then that's the time when they can either start to find meaning meaning by basically devoting their time in helping others, in sharing their knowledge, in creating a foundation. But they very often actually their own success came from the fact that they themselves have helped others without really knowing that they've done that. And so it's a critical point where when someone reaches, a businessman reaches a very successful point where they get recognition, their company is doing well, the only way to keep that success going is actually to start helping others and make it even more in a bigger scale.
Do you think that helping others would, as you get more successful in business, as your business gets bigger and bigger, do you think helping others would help your health and your appearance? I mean, would that also change from that?
Right. Well, I think yes. So if you're helping, I think you have to be very precise to what the seeds that you want to plant. If you help other people in order for them to have more time to take care of themselves or not be stressed all the time, then yes. Depends, like one of the cool things that I like is that you can do the same action, but depending on what you're thinking or your intention while you're doing it, it can create the different results.
Like what's an example?
For example, a good example is one of our friends, Nick and Erin, that came last week. So right now they got a baby, they got a new business, they bought a house and a dog. They did everything in the period of 2 months.
Wow!
So they suddenly they were like this couple, normal two couple that didn't have that, and within the space of 2 months they got all of that.
Yeah.
So.
Busy all the time.
They're extremely busy. They're always doing stuff. They're often tired. So because they're friends of mine, they've become now. I mean, they've always been good. What we say, karmic partners. But now they've become even more karmic, even better karmic partners because I know that if I help them in small ways in their business, for example, or take care of their daughter, which I love, by the way. Is planting also seeds for me, mainly planting seeds for me to have a healthier body and mind. Because that's my intention to say, look, these are my friends. I know that they're having a hard time. I mean, they're doing great stuff, but I'm trying for them to have a little bit, at least when I'm trying to go there and help them, to have more rest in their mind and in their body. So by doing that action, I'm sure that I'm planting seeds for my health in the future.
You see a lot of business people, especially this is the young executive model, the guy, he works hard, he's making lots of money. I mean, he goes to the gym and he looks really good, or maybe goes to the yoga studio. But then some young executives go to the yoga studio and they look better and better. And then some go to the studio and after a week they hurt their neck or they get hurt in the yoga.
Yeah.
So where's that coming from?
I think, personally, I noticed that those who that's where I'm starting to understand when you mentioned patience. It's very important to make others feel good, basically, and that competitive mindset can sometimes
even in yoga, right?
Even in yoga can actually make others feel stressed, feel under pressure. So for a business person who makes others feel stressed and under pressure and constantly competitive is actually planting the seeds for them to be
Hurt themselves in yoga.
to hurt themselves in yoga.
Well, they're trying to be more healthy.
Why they're trying to be more healthy. So the seeds for their own yoga practice is actually in making others feel peaceful around them.
So the ancient books, especially your book, I know the one that you're translating. By the way, I hope you come out soon with your book.
Yes.
I think it's going to be done this year or something.
Yeah, by mid this year,
Yeah.
hopefully.
So what I'm thinking about is, supposedly, as Masi mentioned in the Diamond Cutter book, it talks about the seed, of anger. Changes your appearance. My mom always said, "Don't look like that because it will stay that way." But karmically, mental seeds. If you're angry, then all of us who've been around your book and other books like that, we know that. But still, I can say yesterday someone made me angry. So what do you do? I think Masi's asking
Right.
in the moment of anger, when someone most hurts you or most upset you, what's your advice then, Seiji? What's your advice? And then I'm going to ask Ben the same question.
Sure. Well, first of all, Masi, I want to thank you so much because personally I have a big problems with anger. I think that's one of my main negative states of mind. So by asking this question, you're allowing me to help you and help the people that see this video so that they deal with their anger, and as a result, I can have less and less anger. So there's two things that I wanted to talk about.
In the moment of the heat.
Right, in the moment of anger. So there's something that in the DCI system we call the peacock warrior, or in this specific case, the macho dude. So what does this mean? It means that, okay, let's say that right now I am in front of something that is making me angry, or that usually in the past has made me angry. So I said, okay, I know that I will get angry, that I don't have that much strength, but I'll put all my concentration, all my strength, so I can remain for 3 seconds.
Wow.
I'll delay my anger 3 seconds.
Wow.
And by being able to delay my anger 3 seconds, I'm planting the seeds of next time, hopefully, because seeds grow, so these mental seeds grow, then next time I'll be able to hold myself off from 9 seconds, then a minute, an hour. And hopefully there'll come a day when I can remain 1 year or several years or not getting angry at all.
What's that got to do with a peacock? I know you keep talking about peacocks in your...
Yeah, so peacock warrior, it's one of the code words that we have in our book, and it means that whatever we do, we must have two main things. One is we must be warriors. We must be fierce. We must attack our negative emotions with fierce determination. Yeah. The second one is that all of this fight, the reason why we're fighting these negative emotions is to help other people, which in the DCI system we call wanting to be a personal example. So personally, I think this is a very beautiful concept that is explored in this book, that we can all try to strive to become a peacock warrior more and more.
I'm going to ask Ben, this peacock warrior idea, I know it has another element, which is you get to a point where to make yourself stronger, you put yourself purposely in difficult situations. So instead of avoiding a person who gets you upset, you actually call them up and invite them out for dinner. So what do you think about that? And have you ever tried stuff like that?
I love the idea.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting because it's easy to say it.
Oh yeah.
And then when you're in the middle of it, you're like, you just don't really, you believe in that's what happens to me. I like to talk about it. I can talk about it.
It's a nice philosophical.
And then when it really happens, then I'm the first one to explode. And it's very
to run away.
To run away. So the question is, how do we catch ourselves? And I like what you just said, like these 3 seconds. And this notion of using situations or others or the difficult person on purpose.
Wow, yeah.
Is a great practice, and that's actually the heart of it. That's the peak of practice.
There's a famous story. The person that your book was written for
Oh, yes.
was named Atisha, and there's a very famous story about him. And maybe you'd like to close the show with this story. I thought, how he got his patients.
Sure. So the author of this book was a great teacher, and the story says that he purposely chose one student on one of his attendants that was really, really annoying. They would be traveling at those times by horse, and he purposely chose this extremely annoying person to keep himself for practicing. He said, you know what, if I'm just with you guys, with his normal students, let's say, he would say, I'll never get angry. I've reached a level where I'm okay. But I want to help more people. So I will purposely put this guy so that he keeps annoying me so I can keep practice. So that's a cool, I think that's a cool concept. Obviously, I think, yes, it requires for us to reach a certain state of mind, but also I find that from day to day, there's some days that we feel stronger. And there's days that you say, you know what, today I do want to be a peacock warrior. Bring on the most annoying people, I'll call them, and today I can deal with you.
So Masi, Seiji's advice for practical steps for you. Right. I think it's a very unusual advice from our two economists today. And they're saying, Masi, if you really want to be a successful business person, then go out and find the people who are most irritating to you. And instead of running away from them, try to be around them. Right. And then you'll get stronger and stronger, like weightlifting. Right. Seiji, you have a question for us for tomorrow?
Yes. So the next question that we have is
which country is it from? Do you remember?
From China.
Ooh.
Let me see. From mainland China.
Okay. Hello everyone at DCI. The Diamond Cutter book literally changed my life. I made lots of wealth a year after I read that book. However, I become arrogant and unfaithful to my marriage for a period of time. So I also waste a lot of money and my wife is gone. So my question is, how can I bring my wealth to next level and also bring my wife back? Thank you.
Wow, tough question. Tough question. So we'll see you tomorrow, Friday, right? And we'll be answering that question with Scott and Reed, who've been, helping people around the world. They're very good at it. So don't worry. And we'll get to the bottom of this one. Thank you for coming to Beach. Thank you to economists.
Thank you for inviting us.
Please come back in a couple of weeks.
Absolutely.
People really enjoy hearing from you guys.
Absolutely.
Thank you. See you tomorrow.
Excellent. Thank you, guys.